Hello everyone, this is Sibel Edmonds. Today we are going to briefly discuss synthetic conflicts. In particular, we'll be looking at the real gains and the real winners, rather than getting lost in the distortion maze that has been designed by the deep state and implemented via their propaganda tentacles, media. With all the talk on the ISIL conflict, and with all the speculation surrounding Russia's in and out of Syria maneuver, it is time to put aside the lenses provided by the media, aka the deep state propaganda machine, bring out the magnifier, and search for the truth of these matters by following the money. Russia's in and out of Syria maneuver has been paying off big time. Let's get more specific. It's been paying off for top Russian defense companies. Moscow has been landing one military contract after another since the for-show-only maneuver in Syria. The Russian aerospace forces' success in Syria has already attracted the attention of a whole array of foreign customers, with the total value of the military contracts expected to be 10 times that of the operation they had in Syria. A video of the Russian T-90 battle tank surviving a hit by a US-made TOW missile may add significantly to an increase in demand for the tank from foreign customers such as Iran, Iraq, and the former Soviet republics. Last but not least is the customer's interest in the sophisticated Russian S-400 air defense system. Russia's possible agreement with Saudi Arabia and India, which would be worth about $4 billion. So, how much money will Russia make off operations in Syria? Russia has spent $464 million on its operation in Syria, but is going to earn far more from its involvement. Potential export contracts for weapons systems tested in Syria may reach $6 to $7 billion over the next few years. Russian companies are riding the wave of increasing national military spending and exports. There are now 11 Russian companies in the top 100, and their combined revenue growth was 48.4%. What makes Russia a formidable player in the arms business is Moscow's willingness to bankroll weapons sales worldwide. Being ready to export sophisticated weapons on soft loan terms and other flexible financial deals give Moscow an unparalleled edge over other defense exporters. Of course, that, and getting involved in synthetic conflicts for monetary and strategic gains. If there's one thing we should have learned over the past 13 years of our perpetual war, it's that war is good business for those in the business of war. Unfortunately, while profits for the Pentagon's contractors increase, so does the cost to taxpayers in billions in waste, fraud, and abuse. The most recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan offer an ominous example about what can happen when the rush to war is met with sharp spending increases coupled with little to no oversight or fiscal restraint. The Commission on Wartime Contracting estimates that there was $30 to $60 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse associated with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. A total of $12 million per day. Even worse, at least $6 billion is completely missing, never accounted for, gone forever. That is a stunning amount of taxpayers' dollars, yours and mine, to simply disappear into the wind. A full accounting of the costs of operation, replacement of equipment, training, and aid to other members of the coalition, and a doubling or tripling of the current level of 1,600 US troops in Iraq could put the annual price of wars in Iraq and Syria at $15 to $20 billion. Our latest war represents a welcome new source of profits for arms makers like Boeing, Raytheon, and Lockheed Martin, whose weapon systems have already been heavily used in Iraq and Syria. This is particularly true if the conflicts drag on for years, as administration officials have already suggested repeatedly. The direct costs of wars in Iraq and Syria may only be a small part of the new business that will flow to Lockheed Martin and its cohorts in the next few years. The new wars will almost certainly extend the life of the Pentagon's war budget, known more formally as the Overseas Contingency Operations Account. For the past few years, OCO has served as a slush fund to pay for Pentagon projects that have nothing to do with fighting any war. The arms industry will join with the Pentagon and hawks on Capitol Hill to use the current Middle East, Syria crisis as leverage to lift the caps on the Pentagon's base budget that exists under current law. Even when they are successful, it could mean tens or even hundreds of billions of dollars of new business for Pentagon contractors such as Lockheed Martin and Boeing over the next decade. Let's talk about the very excited Lockheed Martin when it comes to Syria-ISIS synthetic conflict. After all, it has been boosting bomb production for an era of conflict with no end in sight. We are talking perpetual war, synthetically created perpetual conflict. Here is a recent report from Defense One. Bombs away. Lockheed expanding missile factories quadruples bomb production for ISIS long haul. Lockheed Martin is expanding various munition factories to meet rising demand from the US and its partners fighting ISIS, and to start equipping American warplanes for great power wars at sea. In particular, US and allies are burning through their stocks of Lockheed's Hellfire missile, the signature weapon of Predator and Reaper drones. Helicopters and fixed-wing planes also carry the versatile laser-guided weapons. Between August 2014 and February 2016, the latest month for which Pentagon data is available, American warplanes dropped more than 39,715 bombs, worth some $1.5 billion, on so-called ISIS targets in Iraq and Syria. Last month, Defense Secretary Carter said he had asked Congress for $1.8 billion to buy 45,000 smart bombs in fiscal 2017. In all, the Pentagon plans to spend $1.89 billion on JDAM, Hellfire, and small diameter bombs next year, up $337 million for those three weapons this year. With every war, battle, and conflict, we must engage in the following inventory taking process. What will be gained? By whom? What are the dollars involved? And who gets these dollars? The synthetically created cartoonish ISIL pawns? Loss. People in Syria? Loss. People in Turkey? Loss. Ordinary people in the United States and other Western nations? Loss, loss, loss. Loss of their hard-earned tax dollars, safety, and you know what? Loss of their dignity, since these synthetic perpetual wars are being waged on their behalf with their money and with their political votes and representatives. And the winners? Top players of the military-industrial complex win. Intelligence-industrial complex players and operatives win. Mega financial corporations win. Mega oil companies win. This is Sibel Edmonds. I'll be back with more soon.